2 weeks ago, these boys were fully booked. It's now been 5 days and they haven't had a single phone call. They quit their 9 to 5s and sunk 2.5 grand straight away into the business. And now they're one bad month away from losing it all. My name's Ozzy and I run a marketing agency called Fetchio. And over the next 90 days, I'm going to be documenting my entire journey working with Axon Detailing, taking them to a 5-figure operation. On camera, with real numbers, with real data, completely transparent. As I mentioned, the business is called Axon Detailing, and it's one of the people I went to school with. 2 lads who quit their jobs and went all in on business without really understanding what it really takes to succeed. This is going to be part 1 of 4, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I did when I walked in, what I changed, and what the ads look like, and how I created them. Now, if you want to see if we pull this off over the next 90 days, subscribe below and stay tuned for episode 2. So like I said, this is Axon Detailing, meet the guys. They're 2 19-year-old boys, 20-year-old boys from Surrey, and they don't want to be working for someone else for the rest of their lives, so they want to start their own business. Car detailing was something they were interested. They invested 2.5 grand into a van and begun pushing social media. Now they've begun doing some viral style of content, which is great, but not very good for lead generation itself and getting more jobs in, because Facebook will show these videos to people up and down the country, and these guys are just a mobile local company. So what we're going to first do is we're going to fix their content strategy and tweak the things that they're currently doing. There's a couple of other things I want to do when I first looked at the business, and what needed to be done for it to be successful long term, and what needed to be done for it to be profitable. Because obviously businesses can be great, but not always profitable. So there's a couple of tweaks I wanted to make. First, let's have a look at a quick interview I did with Alex and Connor, just kind of get a bit more background information upon the both of them, what they do and how their business is rolling. So just give me like a quick introduction on the both of you, why you quit your 9 to 5 and why is it you want to kind of run your own business?
So my name's Alex. I'm here with Connor. We are the founders of Axon Detailing. We previously used to work in the motor trade, but we decided that we wanted the freedom of controlling our own business. We wanted to have full leeway over what we do in our business, make the final decisions, and we wanted to see it grow, which is why we started Axon Detailing.
Nice.
How PG do we have to be?
I don't really know, to be honest.
Then let me not speak.
Okay.
Hustle.
Okay, the next bit, just kind of, what have you been doing when you first started the business? What was it you were doing to originally get customers, and how's that kind of worked out for you guys?
Yeah, this is a good one, Con.
So how we started was word of mouth. When we were building up the van, we had a lot of customers basically saying, when can we do it? But we didn't have a van and we didn't want to use other people's resources to clean their cars. So as soon as we had the van all set, we had like a consistent, I'd say, week and a half of just consistent days. And then after everyone had their car cleaned, obviously it's not a weekly thing. So it basically, we hit a wall. We were getting the one a week, or like maybe one every 3 days. And then we kind of social media, really. That's what we were hoping for. We got a couple customers on social media, but nothing that we could close. We had people because social media's everywhere. You could get people messaging you from America and stuff like that. But we had a couple from like North and Watford.
Yeah.
It's like Watford was about an hour and 45-minute drive. And then a couple from Kent as well. And just weighing up, obviously it's money, but petrol, driving there, using our resources. And then what happens if they don't like it? And then we have to go back and everything like that. It just wasn't worth the hassle that we were just starting up. But now, starting with you, we've tripled, maybe quadrupled our client intake.
Lovely. And the last question, what's kind of the goal over the next 90 days?
3 months.
3 months, yeah.
In Barbados. Yeah.
Well, as in statistics-wise, or
just business-wise as a whole. I mean, it could be if you've got a statistic goal, if you've got a monetary goal.
Can I talk about, for example, courses that we want to do?
Yeah, of course.
All right. I think we can both contribute to this. I'd say in the next 90 days to 3 months, I definitely want to do some additional detailing courses, which will be funded by our bookings that we already have, offering, let's say, polishing, ceramic coating, just to increase what we can sell. I'd want booked weeks. I'd want to be able to possibly take on, an extra job here and there, but I'd want them to be quite allocated in what we have. And yeah, hopefully these leads keep on coming in like they are now, and we'll be able to just go up, maybe hit, like you said, what was it, 5 big a month, and then just be able to keep the consistency there.
And then to add on to that, I think our overheads when we started off were quite significant. So what I would like potentially in the first 2 months, so 60 days, was to completely break even of that. So that's basically 4 figures a month, which would set us up nicely. And then for the last 30 days, hopefully we can hit a good 5-figure month.
So that was Alex and Connor, a little bit of introduction into their business and kind of what they had going wrong, what they did in the past, and what we've done kind of to change that. Now, obviously, this interview was done after we've built the ads, after we'd structured everything, and after we launched the ads. So you'd have seen Connor mention that we quadrupled their lead flow. We had about 26 leads come in, or 28 leads coming over the last 3 days or so. So now what I'm going to show you is the exact process which I follow every single time when I go through a campaign, when I build a new campaign out, and the structure that I follow from A to Z. Whether that's how I change pricing, how I package pricing with clients, and also just how I build their campaigns inside the ads manager, how I build the ads themselves, and just kind of some creative examples that I've got going on. So as I also mentioned in that video, we've set them a 4-month goal. And in 4 months, they want to pay back all their loans. They want to hit their first 5-figure month, which I think is very, very achievable with the results that we've seen so far, and take a little trip to Barbados. So stick around and watch the end of the video I'll show you exactly how we do this for them. And stay tuned for the next 30 days because I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to take their business from 0 to 4 figures to 5 figures. So the first thing I wanted to look at when I was looking at Axon's business was their pricing. I noticed that their prices are relatively low and they were sitting around that £70 mark, and realistically you can't really be profitable that I've seen in the past with ads where your ticket or your average order value is kind of in that £70 to £50 range. So we need to fix that. And before you ever want to throw yourself at the deep end and look at running your own ads, you've got to fix what you're selling. And these guys had a pricing problem. So when I looked at what they were originally charging, my first thought was these guys are leaving huge amounts of money on the table. So a standard detail, that's interior, exterior, snow foam, vacuum, that takes around 2 hours, sometimes even more. And they were charging around £70 for that. And there's 2 of them, so that's £35 each if they were taking our labour, split between 2 people before fuel, before products, before insurance, before tax. It's hardly anything. So I know we need to look at these prices. So they had no tier structure. They were below the entry bracket, and it just came across as they were super cheap or super new to what they were doing. And what we want to do is we want to position them in a position of value rather than price. They're not competing with every customer, and every customer's batting them down on trying to get a cheaper quote. So what we wanted to do was just kind of build up a more packaged offer. Like I said, the maths just didn't work. On average, two people, £35. Between 2, that's £12 an hour. And the average London living wage is around £13.85, but even we know that's minimum wage, and you probably can't even live in London on £13.85. The skilled work on premium cars, and they're paid less than minimum wage. So I wanted to introduce a bronze, silver, gold package system. The 3 tiers, each with one job to do, and the silver is the hero. That's the one we want to try and push people towards, and as you can see, how I've priced this out is how we will get people to be pushed towards the silver. So with bronze, it's the £75 for small, £95 for medium, and £120 for large. But how we package the product or the services that we're providing for each one, it's slightly different. With bronze, it kind of looks like the cheaper option. We're just getting a small clean, a vacuum, and a small wipe down. For silver, you kind of get a whole lot more than bronze for a smaller increase, or not a huge increase. So that's like that sealant and dressing, everything in bronze plus a whole lot more essentially. And in gold, this one's just to kind of make the silver look more sensible, but if we can get people selling on the gold, then brilliant. And our max is at £350. We're not offering any ceramic coating. And the reason why we got 3 is we've got the floor, we've got the hero, and we've got the anchor. The bronze is obviously the floor, stops the bargain hunting. It's the cheapest option is £140, just too high for someone on a budget, and bronze keeps them in the funnel. But typically when you've got one price, people will always price shop, but if you've got multiple prices or multiple packages and prices, they can compare your prices and packages rather than going and comparing your one price to multiple people's different prices. The hero is the one we want everyone to land on, so we build every ad and package the sales process around the silver. So when we speak to people over the phone, or how they speak to people over the phone, pushing people towards that silver, it's designed to customers naturally pick it. And the anchor is obviously the gold. I'm not expecting to sell loads of gold. The gold job is to make the silver look reasonable. Next to £300, £170 isn't expensive, and it's the sensible choice to make. And this is straight out of Axamosi's playbook. When you have multiple prices or you get one price, they compare it to the next cheapest thing that they can find. You give them 3 prices, they compare your 3 options to each other, and they stop shopping around. It's one of just the one tips and tricks we've used, but I have used so many when I'm looking at this company. And this isn't a huge price hike. We had a look at the market, what they were currently charging, what people were charging, where they're just a small mobile company, not looking to scale. And when we compared the old prices, this is what they're massively undercharging them, underquoting themselves. And this was just on a clean, no packages and no additionals. So when we just did what they were charging before for just a clean, they're massively under the market value currently. The basic, apparently, and just for a clean, is £60, £100 and £150. They were charging 50, 70, 90. They're massively under. So then when we began packaging their offers and including the silver, they've increased their small or their lowest ticket offer by £90, the medium by 100, and their large by 110. So that is how we fixed their pricing. Obviously, we had to go some back and forth into what was going to work and what wasn't going to work. But on average, their ticket lift has been increased by 2.4%, also 2.4 multiplied. And we created 3 tiers, and the hero tier is the silver tier, which we're pushing everyone towards that. And if we can get cost per acquisition of maximum £10, even that hero tier being £140, that is still a 14x ROI. Ideally, we can get a cost per acquisition of £5. If we can get a cost per acquisition of £5, that's a huge ROI. It's like a 28, I believe, X ROI on what we're looking for. The next step is we're going to have a look at the competition. What is the competition doing? What can we take from the competition and apply to our own business to try and get some ads or find some winning ads immediately, and then do some testing on the back end to see if we can beat that cost bleed of the average. Because once again, Axamosi speaks a lot about not just kind of trying to be like everyone else or not trying to be the industry standard so much. We want to be better than the industry standard. We don't want to look at the industry standard. Now, coming into this, I have never marketed a mobile detailer. I've done a whole lot of local business marketing and I know what I'm doing. However, just to get a good feel for things, the first thing I'll do whenever I'm marketing a new business or a new service, what I'll do is I'll come into the ads library and I'll find some winning ads or some ads that I think look good and have been live for over 30 days. Typically when ads have been live for over 30 days, they've been getting traction, they've got a high impression count. People or advertisers typically only keep them live long if they're working. So in this instance, what we're going to do is we're just going to search mobile. And what this does is it pulls up every single mobile detailer advertiser with a keyword mobile detailer and their page name and their advertisement, and lets us be able to see what they're doing and what type of ads they're running. The first thing I did see when I had a look was many people are running ads, founder-based ads. So the founder's on camera and they are just kind of explaining what they do, what clean they had. Let me see if I can find one, like for example here, fine art detailing. If we just go over into here, say a founder-based ad with someone just speaking about kind of the clean that they've recently done. Unfortunately, we didn't have time for the bookings to even create these founder-based ads. So what I had to do is just do some more research and apply some of the frameworks that I've seen work in my own business with other companies that I work with. That's time-lapse content and that's AI voiceovers. Now, to create those AI voiceover scripts, what you can do is very, very simple. Is what I did is I fed ChatGPT the packages that we just built. I fed it loads and loads of information about what they offer, where they're based, what type of offers we can run, and also it's already got the history and the data that I've got with my other clients, the packages that do work with them. So it picked up and created 5 different scripts on 11 labs, which I'm going to show you in a minute on how to create them. So what I did, like I said, I spoke to ChatGPT. So I'm creating some mobile car detailing ads for another friend of mine. I want to use some frameworks that I do for pressure washing. Something like this: if your car doesn't look and smell brand new, then when we are finished, then don't pay us. And change the format. Mobile detailing is what we've kind of got there, and it did exactly that. Also gave us information upon Axon itself and what they do. And I then found a script on the ad library that I liked. So your steering wheel has 5 times more bacteria than a public toilet seat, but that is not even the expensive part. So then I kind of built a small framework up around that hook that I really liked. I also got it to create some more scripts and kind of what we've got currently. Create the toilet seat hook and any other frameworks that we can use. So don't pay unless you're happy framework. Car is dirtier than you think. Car washes don't do this. Protect your car's value framework. The embarrassment framework. So it created an absolute ton of frameworks that I use with other clients, and it's already got kind of those history and the memory that is done before. So it created an absolute ton of frameworks. Now I'm going to show you how to create an AI voiceover really simply. So you're going to come over to 11 Labs, create create an account, and you do have to come onto the premium or the pro, I believe. You'll come over to instant speech. Now, depending on where you're based, depending on what type of area you're based in, this client, for example, is based in Surrey, so we're using a South English accent, and we've got the Jack voice clone here. What you do, you come over to here, copy that hook, copy this, clear that, delete this bit, delete this bit. You want to aim, and you just click generate speech down here, and you want to aim for around 45 seconds to a minute. Any longer or any less is fine. So any less is fine, any longer is just a bit too long. For this instance, we're looking at 53 seconds, and then we create a time lapse of all the content of what they've got and put this over the top. Add some, particularly the content where they are actually involved with cleaning. If they're recording one of the guys cleaning the car, we need to use that as the hook. Seems to always work best. Use that, and then we go over to CapCut, put the captions on, and I will show you what the ads we've got, what they look like. So these are the ads that we've got. Like I say, we start on the 8th of May, and the winning ad currently is this one here. If your car doesn't look brand new, then finished, then you don't pay us. So very simple, voiceover with captions, just like I say, a time lapse of the cars they have cleaned in the past, showing off and the work they've got. Inside here, really basic ad copy. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you inside the ads manager on how we created the ads in the back end. Super simple. Okay, we're in the ads manager now. I'm just going to show you how we've set this up in the back end. What we did is we created, come over here, created a leads campaign, and we targeted 24 and above using an ABO, so that's an ad set budget, in around a 10-mile radius or an 8-mile radius of around Surrey. 24 and above. We don't use Advantage placements, we don't use Advantage audience. Try not to use anything Advantage as possible because they're all crap. And obviously with the ads themselves, we ask a couple of questions. I'll show you them now. So what type of car do you need cleaned, and when are you looking to have your car cleaned? So these are the questions and what the ads currently look like in the ads manager. Super simple. And now I'm going to show you the results that we've had over the last 4-ish or 3-ish days, which are honestly, I'm very shocked. Now, here we are. We've spent a grand total of £17.19 and got 20 leads from it. Out of those 20 leads, 86 pence cost per lead, which is unbelievable to me. And out of those 20 leads that have come in so far, we have seen 2 jobs come in, one for £200 on the silver offer, and a full clean with some other bits and bobs on the bronze offer, on the silver offer, but some other bits and bobs added, for £170. So £17 spent and £370 made so far with the 20 leads that have been generated. That is a £8.50 cost per acquisition and a 21x ROI on the ads that we have launched over the last 4 days. That's it. We're only 4 days in. What we're now going to do is we're going to run these ads for the next 30 days, see where we're at, and we're going to speak and update everyone in the next 30 days. And to be completely transparent with you, with only £17 spent, isn't data that I'm too hung up on. I'm as long as that cost per acquisition is below £10, then we're absolutely fine. If we can get it cheaper, currently it's at £8.50, but if we can get it to £6, then brilliant. But any higher than 10, it's not so profitable. So where we're at currently is a brilliant position, and it's really going to be an interesting story to follow along with over the next 30 days. So please stay tuned, and there will be a video, or part 2 will be posted in 30 days time.